I don't have as much free time right now.
That's a good thing, Joe. This free time sucks a gigantic bag of dicks.
Man, that turned into Jennifer Coolidge real good.
Yeah.
Good.
Really needed it. Really feeling that bag of dicks right now.
You're feeling a bag of dicks? Did
I
I
don't
hear
know.
that right?
Just mowing them down. I
heard you had free time, but now you're telling me you're busy.
Yeah, that's a lot of work,
maybe.
Dan.
Wait, what if they're like... I mean, have you seen the bag of gummy penises you can get from El Dorado's?
No.
No, I haven't seen this very specific thing.
That's fair. It's like a bag of horrible gummy bears, but they're tiny little dicks.
Little peckers.
But are they sugar or sugar-free Harbor
Both.
dicks?
I hope
Depending on
sugar-free.
which ones you can get.
Oh, man.
Does the sugar-free one give you the runs just like the bears?
I miss those.
I don't
There's so many
touch
good
sugar-free
reviews.
gummy bears for that reason. The diabetic
So
is
you don't
not
rather
touch the sugar-free
I don't
dicks either.
touch any
then.
of them at all. The last time was back in high school when we bought them as a joke and covered my friend's bathroom in them.
Oh.
We bought 24 bags.
Ooh.
It was over 1,000 tiny penises.
You know what? If they taste good,
Right?
Who
Yeah,
cares?
who cares about the shape?
It all comes out the same shape in the end. But
It all
anyways,
tastes the same.
movie. We watched one, right? I really
Movie,
hope
yeah.
we did because I didn't spend almost 2 hours trying to get caught up because I totally forgot that we had to record tonight.
I'm Joe.
I'm Ken.
I'm Andrew.
And I'm Dan.
We're the Rewinders, rewinding childhood movies and watching them again and to see if they hold up. We're doing all those things. And this time, we got our ectoplasmic goo all over the film this week to make it dance around like a toaster with Ghostbusters.2. I wanted to make that more kind of jizz related, but it didn't work out. I couldn't get there.
I'm sad.
That's
I
fine.
apologize,
That's fine.
everyone.
I'm sad we missed out on the
it's
okay.
Dory
Us
Egon
short.
joke in the beginning. We could have pulled that off with the four of us.
Oh,
But no,
well,
it's
I
Oh,
guess.
too late now.
It's ruined forever.
Sorry, I went for a spunk joke instead.
That's
and
good. That's
That's
good.
kind of
Didn't get there.
That's
topical.
good. It's necessary.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't
It was
good.
necessary.
Oh,
We were talking about gummy dicks for so long. I got down that rabbit hole. I didn't
glad
know what
to
to do.
derail your train of thought.
All right, so who saw this when they were a kid?
So many times.
Define
Not
child.
when I was a child. This movie came out 6 months after
before
I was
21.
born.
And you watched it immediately.
Had to.
Could
Had to.
not.
You should have
It's on
slipped
the
out of
docket.
the womb, plopped in a chair, and put it on. No excuses.
This is a baby movie. Like, look who's talking.
No, I wasn't like awkwardly stood up on the edge of a building. No, I was not.
Yeah, with that squat
Yeah.
stand. What was that
We
about?
don't know. Never,
Come on.
it's never explained. He's just
This is not the right time for this conversation, Dan. You're bringing it up at the wrong time.
oh well. I mean, aside from that, I think I watched it for the first time in high school. I've watched this movie
Okay.
several times.
Sure.
I have a relatively vivid memory of the majority of this film. Better than other films that we've done,
Yeah.
I guess.
Ken?
There's legitimately no way to tell when I actually first watched this movie. I have no memory around the why I watched this movie, except for the fact that I probably watched the original Ghostbusters first, which is out of sync for my life, having watched Short Circuit 2 first and then the first one for this podcast. So there is a slight possibility I watched this one first. It had to have been pre-21. I'm glad we brought that up. Over 100 episodes in to this run.
Didn't we watch this in your basement?
I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe. I don't remember.
I don't know about this one. It was probably the first one.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
So many years.
So many. They all bleed together.
What year did this come out?
89.
89?
My
89,
birth,
yeah,
my
89.
birth year.
89.
You bastard.
Wow.
Although I'm sad
Taylor
'cause
Swift year.
I always realize that I don't have any fun, famous people on my birth date. I think I've got like Don Rickles and a few other, but at least my birth year, I found I actually have several of my favorite bands were born the same year as me. like Nine Inch Nails and things like that. So I was pretty excited.
Oh, I'm
So I've got
curious.
some fun bands on my birth here.
Famous people born on my birthday.
Well, he's looking that up. Yeah, I mean, obviously I've seen it enough times.
God.
I love this movie.
Yeah.
I was a baby with a cookie in my hand, happy watching it. I don't know. This movie's been a part of my entire life.
Sure.
The same cookie you dropped when you saw the Jurassic Park.
You know, it could have been.
Trailer.
I had a cookie in my hand during that time. I had a cookie in my hand watching this at some point. I had a cookie in my hand when I was jumping around to Power Rangers. I don't know. I just always had cookies. Damn it! My mom made chocolate chip cookies all the time.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Matthew Lillard, Neil Diamond, Ernest Borgnine, Ray
okay.
Stevens,
Mermaid Man.
Hadrian. Hadrian.
Isn't the wall guy?
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
Ed Helms.
The guy who was really into walls?
Well, he didn't like a certain subset of people on the island. So he's like, you know what? Let's just wall them off. Those Scots, too crazy for us, Rome.
Just kept on making the wall, though. It goes all over the place.
Yeah. It's, knee high at this point. So,
Yeah.
I mean, did it work effectively? Who knows?
He was walking around somewhere and someone's like, hey, look, it's Hadrian's Wall. I was like, oh, that? Okay.
This stopped entire armies.
Kind of like just drawing a line in the sand and saying, don't you cross it.
Right.
Don't do
Some
it.
flimsy duct tape on the ground.
It's
Something.
knee high because that's just enough to be a problem to step over.
It's fair.
Or trying to
fair.
bring a chariot
Oh,
over.
sure. Yeah. Carts, horses, to tell jokes. It's hard to tell a joke over a wall.
I mean, I feel like knock jokes would be a massive hit with walls.
Oh, that would be good. But, after a while, your knuckles would start hurting.
Oh, for
because
sure.
It's like, these are stones. Jeez.
I saw enough stone walls
Come
when I was in
on.
Ireland. I would not want to knock on a bunch of those.
No.
Very sharp looking.
I bet.
I bet one of them belonged to Hadrian. Joe, did you say you watched this movie?
Yeah, I watched this movie. I probably watched it when it came out either on video or HBO. I did not see it in the theaters when it came out. I can say, as a child, it disappointed me.
I can agree with that. I remember that much.
I fully understand people's opinions on this because they toned it down to be more like the real Ghostbusters versus the first Ghostbusters movie. And Ivan
But
Reitman...
you know what? The real Ghostbusters was
It
good.
was. And Ivan Reitman famously said to his son, I believe, that he doesn't really know how to do sequels because he doesn't do sequels. Because I think his son was asking him, like, why did you put the logo for the movie on the suits in the car in universe? That doesn't really make sense. And he said, yeah, I guess not. Something along those lines. Like that's something he wished he wouldn't have done after all these years. But I get it. There's a lot of
That's
pressure.
how you get the logo for the movie is by making it in the movie.
Changes the original suits to the real Ghostbusters suits and then
back and
changes
forth,
them
back and
back.
forth. See, I just took it as it's Ghostbusters 2. Like, when a local bar or grill burns down and they rebuild it and put a 2, or a sex store opens across the street and it's blah 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 2. Like I just figured, they shut down, they came back, so it was them celebrating being back by being Ghostbusters 2. But as an adult, I'm like, yeah.
It was cool to put up the peace sign. So it's like, yeah, we're all good. We're back. Peace.
Right. But I get it. As an adult, I just look at it and I'm like, yep, that makes me scratch my head now.
That opening scene. Wow.
That opening scene, yes.
Oh, the opening scene where they step around some pink ooze, or is there a different one you're talking about?
No, that's it. The one with his rider in a baby in a baby carriage.
That is one ugly
okay.
ass baby carriage, and I hate that thing. I've hated it since I was a kid. Looks like a coffin on wheels, which I guess maybe is probably what they were going for.
It's
but
the
still.
same one that they used in Hook.
Meh.
We're very similar.
Oh yeah, I guess that's right. Yeah.
So it probably came from the prop room. And they're just like, here's a carrot.
Nah,
Whatever.
well, this
man.
one work.
Done.
Not gonna look.
Man.
Yeah, I don't know when Hook happened. So
Mid 90s, early
I was going to
90s.
say it was after this, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I imagine Hook wasn't recorded in New York, though.
No.
Although maybe I'm wrong. What I do know is whenever I watch a movie and it's a sequel, and they've introduced a baby, I always feel like they do so because they don't know what they're going to do with the movie. So they're like, let's just throw a baby in it.
Oh.
Case in point, Shrek the Third.
Sure.
And this movie has always been the case in point for that as well.
I believe we talked about that. It's you make a solid point where it's like, we don't know what to do. Let's raise the stakes. Put a kid in it. It's like, that's why the newest Jurassic World fell so flat too. Because it's like, how can we possibly divert the storyline to be multiple storylines that a child is somehow involved? Put a child in the movie or there's no stakes whatsoever.
It didn't have to be a child.
I'll throw a bone to this argument and say it could be the fact that someone now has a family that is involved in creating the movie and had a different perspective on life and decided that that was a perspective to not evaluate, but like, let's try this because this is something new in my life. And you try to draw from what's going on in your life. That's kind of the vibe I started picking up on this movie. Was that what was it? That guy, the gentleman, I can't remember his name now, Eichmann or whatever.
Ivan Reitman?
Oh,
the director?
Ivan Reitman. He
didn't write it, did he?
No. Well, I don't. I mean, I know Harold Ramis had a lot.
Harold Ramis.
Harold Ramis and Dan Aykroyd. They wrote it, just like the first one.
Yeah, it just gave me the vibe that there was maybe like family expansion going on in their lives, and maybe that played into why. But you're also mentioning that, real Ghostbusters. Okay, yeah, that could absolutely be a reason to soften the story, because widen the audience, why push kids out now that you've drawn them in?
And then have a bunch of wild, weird sexual undertones in this film. The same kind of wild, weird sexual undertones that they cut out of the first film.
Like Ghost Blowjob?
Yeah.
Man, did I miss Ghost Blowjob when I was a kid. My parents recorded it off the TV. I didn't realize until I bought the DVD. I'm like, whoa, what the fuck is this?
Right?
It's the greatest.
What is going on?
Okay,
why is there a penis in my Ghostbusters movie?
So I have to say, and this is my take on it before we start diving into things. I've always loved Ghostbusters 2 more than 1. That's his personal preference, because for me, it's an underdog story of them trying to come back from where they were to get back to the point where they originally were in the first movie. It's that whole fallen hero trope. But at the same point, it expanded the universe substantially. Mm-hmm. It brings slime into the equation. It brings new characters into the equation, all kinds of new equipment into the equation. It brings all kinds of lore and background. You've got Venkman on World of the Psychic. You've got Ray's Occult Books. You've got all these staples that are part of the history, the lore of Ghostbusters, thanks to this movie. And they didn't just retread. This movie gets a lot of crap because a lot of the reviews talk about how it's almost beat for beat the same as the first movie, down to around the same time the Statue of Liberty walks. It's almost the same time that Stay Puft shows up. So it's like things are almost identical from a point of plot point to climax in the first movie to the second one. I get that. Again, Ivan Reitman doesn't do sequels. This is probably why. But I love this movie because of that. And I hate the reception that it got, because then what did we get when they finally decided to pick up the series again? Let's go back to Gozer. Let's go back to Terror Dogs. Let's go back to Stay Puft. And let's not make anything interesting because that got us scared. So this movie to me holds such an important part in my heart because it shares the same theme song. It shares the same characters, but it's completely different. And I respect the shit out of that. And it made so many things different. The Ecto-1 looks ridiculous because it's got to be bigger and better because they're back. Let's blow a bunch of money and make the roof rack 2 times the size and put fucking scrolling dot matrix signs on the side and everything like that.
Did it have more or less exhaust cloud?
Oh, less. Actually, the Ecto-1 in this movie, the Ecto-1A, looks so much cleaner and nicer and brighter than the one in the first movie. Mm-hmm. I think they really took their time restoring the one for this movie because it is shiny and gorgeous. The first movie, that one's dirty and rough.
Well,
it's supposed to be.
The first time we see the Ecto, it is covered in dirt and belching smoke, like it is in desperate, dire need of maintenance, which canonically is true because they did not have the money to do it.
And it leads into that beautiful scene
with Ray and Winston is made even sadder from what happens in films after this.
The scene where they do the child's birthday party?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That scene is supposed to be sad.
Which that child is, I think everybody knows, but Ivan Reitman's son, Jason Reitman, who would eventually go on to helm the series. That is his son who says, "My dad says you're full of shit," which is wonderful.
I can tell you at least 1/4 of this podcast did not know that.
All right, there you go. There you go.
Maybe half? It can't be 3/4. Come on, half? Okay,
I'm so jealous of that bastard. He goes in depth in video and everything, talking about how he just kind of grew up on set for Ghostbusters 2. He was there constantly, wandering around set, hanging out with the up.So, looking at all the equipment and everything, just there. I wish.
And that's why Afterlife was so good.
Afterlife was phenomenal, but it was safe.
Yeah, it was safe.
Do you know how many movies we could have had like this? Frozen Empire tried different again, but it was almost like it went full-on real Ghostbusters territory, which I don't think most people were ready for. For me, I just found the movie boring because they eradicated the stakes. They had way the hell too many actors involved. It's like we have to have the old, the new, and more new. We have to have all this going on at once because we can't miss a single face or someone out there in the world is going to be upset. And then they make this new big bad that's awesome. And you can't wait to see it actually happen. They don't actually release the big bad until like what?
The very
2/3 into the movie?
Not even 2/3.
And then the entire plot point is don't let him get to the firehouse and break the containment unit. What happens? It gets to the firehouse and breaks the containment unit. They still end up taking care of the big bad, but the fact that every ghost they ever caught gets released never gets mentioned again. So the thing they were trying to prevent happens, and then they never talk about it. But anyways.
That's prime space for reboot material, so they can retread even more plots that they had already busted.
I used to, in my 20s, I used to sit here and get so pissed at people complaining about nostalgia mining. I'm just like, fuck you, I'm so excited to see the things I love coming back. I get it now. I'm a bitter, angry man. And I have the years behind me now to look back and be like, would have been great if Afterlife was the last one. Just give that closure. Would have been great if this or that happened with Jurassic World and Park. But no.
We already have the Death Star. Let's try something new.
No, we have to make a planet-sized Death Star. Yeah.
Bigger Death Star. Yeah, that's different.
Exactly.
It's just bigger, right?
There we go.
Yeah, bigger.
This one blows up galaxies now.
Solar
and it's not the Empire, but it's just as bad. They look the same.
It eats stars. It was a neat idea. It looks really cool on film, but that's not the movie we're talking about right now.
No. The best part of that one is the fact that you buy a franchise for billions of dollars to try to breathe life into it since it's been sitting stagnant for 10, 15 years. And nobody in the creative process whatsoever sat down to actually come up with a cohesive story to carry through the supposed trilogy. They made one movie, handed it off to someone else and said, all right, your turn. And everything went to hell. Anyways.
But I'm on board. They took some really big steps here on this movie. Mm-hmm. And I actually really appreciate the fact that they come up with a really neat bad guy. They came up with some, I'm not entirely sure how I feel about Janish. I believe that's actually the biggest weird point of this movie. Part of it is he's just a little weird.
He is.
And he gets so much shit from everybody in this movie because he's just a little bit weird.
He is. But he's infinitely quotable. He's infinitely quotable. You're like the buzzing of flies to him. There's so many things you can say. Oh man, I get that though. But he's creepy. I mean, I've talked to people who have seen Ghostbusters 2 growing up, and they don't remember 1 as much as 2 because 2 was the one that scared them. And I'm like, that's interesting to hear. Because Janish going through the power outage with his laser eyes and stuff like that, that's spooky. Him just doing creepy stuff.
It's actually really cool.
Yeah, because he's
the technology they had at the time is really cool looking.
Exactly. There's one person I know who's absolutely terrified of the bathtub scene. And it actually wrecked baths for them for a long time as a kid. Like, there's a lot of good stuff. No, there's a lot of good stuff in here. But yeah, I get why people were upset because it's not the same. You take away the roughness, you take away the smoking, you take away just, I don't know, you take away that edge like that, and you make it more family friendly and more in line with the real Ghostbusters and tone it down that way.
Family friendly though.
Now that's not what
this is considered more family friendly. They even had to redesign Slimer to make him fit and look like Slimer from the show instead of Slimer from the first movie, which was the big gelatinous blob dude. I mean, they changed,
and they made him friendly and so he could drive a bus and drive Louis Tully to the which was very funny. I enjoyed that. Yes. I laughed quite a bit at that this time around. But what if we took, instead of making it more family friendly, we made it less family friendly? We remove the proton packs. We remove the little enchantment thing. We remove what we know about the Ghostbusters, apart from the fact that that idea exists in the universe. We take a small group of people who are being chased, hounded, terrorized by a ghost, and they have to spend the night trying to figure out how to capture this ghost based off of what they heard the Ghostbusters did.
I like that.
Make it into more of like a singularity horror movie within the same universe, but without that stuff.
I like
Would that sell, or is that just being like a completely different movie piggybacking?
I mean, that's like toning it down. That's like the remake of Dread, taking it and making it into an easily digestible Die Hard story, if you will. Take the universe of Dread and put it inside of a building, and it's fucking amazing.
I'm more so making it into a horror movie.
Exactly, but
I just want to make everything to a horror movie.
But you shrink it down to something like that to the point where it's less stakes. Not everything has to be this apocalyptic post Avengers world-ending nonsense. To the point where I'm sure all of you have seen it, but there is an ad for that stupid ass 911 show that's airing where there's meteors coming down. Have you guys seen this?
I haven't seen it.
Good God.
I don't watch a lot of TV.
No.
I saw it.
I don't either.
TV, I don't either. But it played before something on like Hulu or something. Last year, or the year before, there was one where it was like a storm hits a cruise ship. And they're like, somebody called 911, and it's this 911 show. It's like, what's calling 911 going to do? Your cruise ship's being hit by a wave in the middle of the ocean. But anyways, this one came on a week ago, and it stars all the cops and first responders of that show all doing things and then looking up at the sky and be like, what the heck is that? And there's streaks coming over. And then they're on the walkies. They're like paging each other, like brace for impact and blah, blah, blah. Why did we get to this point? Why? What happened to a painting trying to take over a baby and come back to life? like, why does it have to be world-ending shit from another universe every single time? But anyways, I digress. It's just, I like your idea, Ken. I like shrinking it down to a more digestible format like that because it works. It works when you have something that's been stagnant and you need to breathe life into it. The answer isn't throw everything you have at it to make it 10 times bigger and better, because that's like basically filling a room with filler and junk. You need to disassemble.
You can only go so big.
Exactly. You have to disassemble it, understand what made it work in the first place, and start from scratch and see how much you can put in before it tips over. There's a reason why the first season of The Mandalorian shook everybody up, because it wasn't full of so many nostalgic throwbacks and Easter eggs. It was not too heavily reliant on nostalgia. It was made with the exact same principles of what George Lucas used to influence him to make Star Wars, versus it just being like, well, we have a Star Wars license, we have to throw this into it. No. You make it the same way the creator made it, and guess what? Everybody loved it. They loved it. So, I don't know.
But then we go back, and Ivan said that he couldn't make a sequel, so he wasn't able to do that. And that's why people don't like it.
I know, and it's so sad for me. It's so sad.
It's because there were so many fans like yourself that could see where they were pulling things from, and a majority of the people who were going to this film because they saw the first movie and stopped.
That's fair.
They didn't watch the real Ghostbusters. They didn't get hooked on any of the comic books. They just saw the first movie and been like, that was kind of scary. I liked it. I guess I'll wait for another movie to come out. It took them, 3 years?
Too long. And the reasoning is because behind the scenes, the guy who originally, I cannot remember his name, the guy who originally greenlit Ghostbusters because he was leaving at the time. He basically, as like a last ditch thing, like did a favor essentially and greenlit it before he moved over to be like somebody at Coke, I think, like Coca-Cola. So he left Columbia, greenlit it before he left. It was famously like a huge thing that pissed a lot of people off, but the movie turned out to be phenomenal and they fought like hell to get it made. So then when his replacement took over, his replacement did not want to do a sequel. And it got hung up for a long time. They bickered back and forth in the background. They did all kinds of shit. They finally got it to actually go through. And that comes with a lot of consequences. It comes with a lot of, if you do this, then we'll allow you to. If you do this and align it with this, that's fine. So, I don't know. There's always some sort of interference like that.
Yeah. Now, if any of this makes you say, I don't know what any of this is, let's just easily walk you through the overview of what Ghostbusters 2 is.
That's
very
sorry.
fair.
Oh my God.
That's very fair.
It's been so long. I cannot believe that I blew over that entire part of the podcast.
No. I helped. I helped. Every time there was something said, I jumped in and latched on because I'm like, I could talk about this.
Well, we were excited.
I was
because
pushing
it's been
it on
so
purpose.
long since we've done an episode.
Oh man,
it's fine. No, so if you haven't seen Ghostbusters 2, it kind of goes like this. Ghostbusters 1 happens. It was awesome. And then we get hit with 5 years later. And then we see it's
Dana.
Help me out here. Names are failing me. But we have
Dana.
No, the two guys at the beginning doing a birthday party. What are their names?
Ray and Winston.
Winston.
Thank you.
And you see the first cinema sin. You see Winston without a mustache. That is the only thing I couldn't take as a child in this movie as a change. Where was his mustache?
Change is bad. Change is bad, man.
It is.
It's so bad. Bad, man. Bad.
So it immediately shows you that how things have changed for the Ghostbusters. No longer are they riding high. And you find out as they go through all the main characters where they're at. And it's wonderful. I love the opening to this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really well done. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. This is the overview. And then we end up in a situation of, there's goo. What is this goo? Is it making the baby carriage go places, weave through traffic? Maybe. So then it gets the Ghostbusters, the former Ghostbusters, to look into it again. And then their little devices, old and new, start going beep, 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 beep. And they have a lot of something happening. So yes, it must be ghosts. Or the goo,
psychokinetic
whatever.
Goo.
Yeah. And then the movie very quickly starts racing through and getting you to where you need to be, of digging under roads, finding rivers of goo, leading you to a museum with artwork of a person who apparently was horrible and terrible and was prophesized to return. And it makes you go, Meanwhile, some Eastern European museum guy is falling prey to the big artwork of Vigo and is going to steal a baby to bring Vigo back into the world. And Janusz, the Eastern European, is interested in Dana.
Dana, who is the avatar of death.
And then
Wait, what?
Janusz?
No, Dana, apparently.
she was Zool.
Oh.
Jeez, call
She
that.
was the gatekeeper.
She was
the gatekeeper, right?
She was the keymaster, yes.
Yeah, because penis and vagina.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yes. See, kids didn't need to have the talk in the 80s.
I'm getting too detailed here. I'm sorry. I got to back off.
There you go.
Anyway, so as New York encroaches on New Year's, people go crazy. So the psychokinetic goo reacts and gets stronger and release ghosts somehow. So then the Ghostbusters are called back into duty, and then they fight ghosts, and people are like, "Woo, Ghostbusters again!" But the psychokinetic goo is not stopping, and Vigo is getting stronger. And at New Year, that's going to be the end of the world, according to a guy from the very beginning of the movie. And it just so happens to line up. That's when the psychokinetic goo gets strong, encases the museum, brings in the baby, brings in Dana, has Janisch, and they have party hats. And the Ghostbusters, how are we going to get in? Oh, with our happy juice kinetic goo, we're going to spray it on a Colossus and bust into the museum, and then they break in, and then they just smart mouth their way into beating the demon. I'm leaving a lot out.
Yeah.
That's why it's over.
Just
we'll
window,
get there.
window dressing. We don't need any of that.
It is a dense movie.
It is.
There's a lot of stuff going on in this movie.
There truly is. That's why I love it.
Did not realize how long this film was.
Yeah, 2 hours.
Mm-hmm. Oh, looking at God.
I didn't expect that.
When I realized how little time I had to watch the film, I'm like, well, we're going to get an hour and a half of this, and I'll have to see what I remember after that.
2 things I like. You mentioned the potholes. I love that pothole scene. They're coming out, and Egon's been doing jackhammer for an hour apparently,
coffee.
And they've been going to get coffee or whatever, fucking messing around. Like, then they come out and like do the thing, and it's just a real fun caricature of what you would imagine a New York street worker person
down to the Brooklyn accents.
I feel like it's an interpretation of an interpretation type thing, which is great. And then the cops come back and they're like, "Oh, what is it? What are you doing?" And then Bill Murray's still trying to build on it. It's like, "Oh yeah, we do this, and it's like this and this," and they're like, "It's not. This guy's from the electricity. It's not you." And we also called the other place. That's not you. So you got anything else? He bounces over
without skipping a beat. He just turns
without skipping a beat.
We got a major gas leak down in here.
As if that's going to help us case here.
Gas. I'll make it work.
Where do you think this is coming from? The sky? There's
meanwhile,
so many good quotes in this movie.
Ray is dangling in a hole. They're trying to drag him up. Kicks the power out of the rest of the city.
That manages,
that made me mad this time around. It's like one pipe, the entire city. Come on.
I don't think I know the city of New York is
funny.
It's notorious for having blackouts, but like
yes.
So did they actually turn off the city for that?
No, it's Matt Payne, you can tell. But taking it back,
I'm bad at
taking it
that.
back before that.
Tell.
Even Joe was mentioning the opening scene where everybody's at. It's still my favorite Egon scene in all the movies. Just him as a scientist doing science stuff against people. The couple waiting for marriage counseling that he keeps on cranking the temperature in the room up on. The deadpan of just, let's see what happens when we take away the puppy. Like, there's just so many good things that are just Egon being a scientist.
The most unethical science.
Science will get done with Egon regardless of whether it needs to be done.
Exactly. And the quips, like, there's some good quips leading up to the point where kind of talking about, like, I caught again when they're in Ray's occult bookshop and Venkman's talking to Egon, and he mentions that, no, they're more interested in his epididymis. I was like, you know what? I've actually in 37 years never looked it up. And I was like, holy shit. Because it makes sense when you watch the scene back, because Bill Murray looks at him, smiles, and then kind of like does a moment of reflection on his face. And then it kind of looks horrified before it goes back over to Ray. Epididymis is the lining behind the testicle that supplies the semen. So it's like, why the hell is Egon talking about this? Because of course Egon would say something like that. It's horrifying, but
I have a feeling that I took it as Bill Murray being like, yeah, okay, and not understanding what the hell he's talking about, and just kind of like trying to see if, like, should I know what he's talking about? That's how I always
took it as a kid. I always took it as Egon said something more intelligent than he could understand because it's Venkman.
Right.
But then as an adult, I'm watching this again, I'm realizing, No, these are all smart guys. All of them have PhDs. They're all very well educated. He knows what he's talking about. It just takes him a second to click, and you see it on his damn face. It's the greatest thing ever. I've never caught that in all my years, but
fair.
I think the big thing that I really appreciate in this movie leading up to all that is you see the Ghostbusters doing more science in this movie.
Yeah.
The first movie, they're getting things together. They're kind of spread out because they're kind of like taking care of stuff as individuals to make the whole start to build. Whereas this one, you've got the Ghostbusters all together investigating Dana's apartment. You've got them out in the street doing all their stuff. They're always together doing things. For the most part, they're not really split up too often in this movie. And I enjoy the hell out of that because the first movie was great. And I love the first movie. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just, I like that more. I like that dynamic more. They're doing more sciencey things where they don't always have to just be in the flight suits. They're doing stuff as scientists out in the world. Like you said, in construction suits.
And some of it's silly, like a bouncing
yes,
toaster. But it kind of does get
or the joke
across.
about how Egon sleeps with it. That never gets old to me. Just the looks on their faces.
Well, the science had to get done.
It did. He gets that science done every time, like you said.
Science was their name?
Science for science sake.
Yeah. We'll leave it at that. But I also enjoy, again, the fact that, they reuse Slimer. Outside of Slimer, can you mention another ghost in the entire film that got reused or another scene or monster that got reused? No. They went really, really just ape shit with making new things. Down to the Scoleri brothers, which I still love after all these years. The Scoleri brothers are interesting. They look amazing. They're cool. Mm-hmm. Same thing with all the individual ghosts. The jogger
from
ghost.
them other than the fact that the judge put them away.
Yeah, he gave him the chair. Tried him for murder. He gave him the chair. That's all you need to know about the Scoleri brothers.
Yeah. That's all you need to know. But it does open the question, like, we just saw this judge be a total unfair person right here.
Ooh,
did the Scoleri brothers even deserve it?
That's a good point.
Would make sense why they're back to haunt them.
I mean, there's some other ethical questions. It's like, what is a jogging ghost really doing to anyone? Does that need to be caught?
Yeah.
That one actually bothered me. I was like, just let the ghost be. That one's...
I want to know more about the monster in the art.
Yeah, I was gonna...
That one, I was like, let's talk about that.
Where the hell did that come from? Why is that a ghost?
Why is that there,
what was it before it was a ghost?
But I think that might be more representative of it's just making manifestations and maybe not real ghosts.
Ooh, that's a fair point.
Things that you're afraid of, things you're angry about kind of just get manifested from the goo. That's kind of where I kind of thought of with that one.
Well, also, you just kind of made me think about it too. And now I'm thinking some of the things might even be the former forms of the Destructor from Gozer and Zool. Like it could have been things, we never did get to see a giant Tor or a giant Slore. Things like that, like the Keymaster was talking about in the first movie. So
I don't think we ever do in any of the canonical bits of Ghostbusters.
I have the supposedly official Spirits Tobin guide, which they have illustrations of both. But I also like to think that just some of the stuff in this movie could have just been those manifestations from all other kinds of things. Because it doesn't even have to be just the Gozerians and all that stuff. It could be anything, anywhere in the world this could be happening from. Spirits don't just stay. I mean, typically they like to stay where they were, but it's a very interesting concept that there's so many things that aren't just boo ghosts floating around.
Yeah.
We even have a ghost train. Come on. A ghost train.
Ghost trains are always good.
Yeah.
When I was younger and watching this movie, I was very, I'm going to say, I use the term turned off, and it's not like the correct term. It's just something that I didn't understand at the time was the character evolution of Janine.
Yes, I didn't either. It's bothered me for years.
So when I was younger, I was just like, what did they do to the character? That's so different. Why did this happen? And then it became a thing to pile on for the reasons of, this is just too silly. I'm moving on. But watching it now, I was just like, no, I kind of get it because we're in 89. So we're not in the loud color of the early 90s yet, but we're definitely well into the craziness of the 80s. Obviously, it's almost done.
Yeah.
And she is the definition of a character who was meek, that got confidence and then expressed it through attitude and clothing and style. And this time I was just like, oh, hell yeah. Yeah, this is someone who just came out of their shell and just now is empowered.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed her character so much better as an adult because I could see that and like enjoy that.
I legitimately am glad you brought that up because I felt the exact same way as a kid. It's like, that's not Janine. Why is Janine going after Tully? Janine likes Egon. It bothered me, all of it. But as an adult, I get it. It does make more sense.
I love Janine. And I love when she says, just don't go in there to some customer on the phone.
Yeah. And taking it back to that courtroom scene, that is probably my favorite quote in the entire movie, to be honest, is when Tully is trying to desperately defend them. He's trapped in an elevator and had to make the whole time. But he doesn't blame them because he turned into a dog once and they helped him. That's the greatest line delivery by Rick Moranis in this movie. And it is so over the top. I love it. It is one of the most batshit things you can say to a jury
without context. Even with context, it's like, what? Yeah, I guess that did happen. Right? Jeez.
And I'm not too proud to admit, but it took me until like my mid-20s to understand what I had to make the whole time was. It just made it even funnier after that. But just that's one of the jokes that flies over your head as a kid, and then as an adult, it's like, oh man, okay.
How did they squeeze that into a children's film?
Right.
But that's just
a poop joke. Oh, they absolutely.
I also like Janusz. I think it's towards the end of the film or the middle end, where he's welcoming Vigo back up. And Vigo apparently every time he comes into being has to go through his spiel. And as Vigo is spieling, Janusz is like, yes, I know. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, of course. Yes. I've heard this all before. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now that we're done with this, I was just like, okay, that's fun. I do like that.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie has a lot of that. There's a lot of, they might not be the biggest guffaws, but there's a lot of like, that's very enjoyable. I like the angles that they're taking.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will agree with you on that. Just a lot of really good, just inline comedy that's just like keeps a positive mood for most of the movie.
I think the most absurd critique I've heard of this film is that it has too much Bill Murray being Bill Murray. And watching it again, it's about on par. I mean, he's got a couple more scenes maybe, and like, you know, the scene with Oscar in the bedroom and things like that, but it's not overly ridiculous. It's not like the movie's leaning entirely on Bill Murray. The scenes with everybody flowing together are incredible.
That scene with Oscar was to show that Venkman had growth.
Exactly.
From the first film.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a playboy in the first film.
Mm-hmm.
But also I feel like this movie had no more Bill Murray than the first
like
movie.
the most interesting critique I've heard, because I couldn't get a solid answer as to why the person thought that. They just said it just had too much Bill Murray doing his Bill Murray stuff. It's like, oh, okay.
It's just like people who don't.
Not sure how that equates, but all right.
Don't like Will Ferrell for doing Will Ferrell things.
I could see that. And for the longest time, there was a critique that I agreed with, that it just seemed like Bruce Willis just kind of became a character of himself and continued to do the exact same roles with the exact same look for years. Now we know why, mostly, but yeah, for the longest time, it's like, no, you're right. He does play Bruce Willis in every movie, with some exceptions. Like, I really love Death Becomes Her. I felt like that was him being wacky and zany.
Yeah.
And he just kept getting shit on by the press. So why wouldn't he just slip into a role and stay there? Because he's pissed. He's annoyed. Everybody just kept taking shots at him, so it's like, screw it, I'm just going to do this one character being done. You know, meanwhile, we've got stuff like Dwayne Johnson, who just does the same thing and has two different clothing options per his movie contracts.
Well, he just did do another piece that's a little bit more serious, I guess.
The wrestler
I don't
one,
know if
whatever
it
that
is.
one is. Yeah. I saw the trailer for that.
Yeah, the grappler or whatever they call it.
Graboids.
I saw a Graboids. Yeah, it's a Tremors reboot. Actually, he's going to turn into a giant worm at the end of the movie, and just start eating Kevin Bacon.
Completely unrelated. I just watched the trailer for the new Toxic Avenger, and I actually had no idea Kevin Bacon was in it, and I'm excited about that. But then I also didn't know that Peter Dinklage was the new Toxic Avenger, and now I'm sad. So it's like a 50-50 split. I don't know. I just don't know. But anyways.
Yeah. I never finished the first Toxic Avenger.
But this one looks like it's got polish. So I'm excited for
the first one... the first one is rough, but it's rough for a reason.
Yeah. It's that trauma roughness.
No budget.
Yeah.
No budget for sure. You can see that. Except for they do a great job making them look nasty.
But this movie had a budget. They got a budget to make the Statue of Liberty break off of its pedestal and walk around downtown.
Yeah, that part actually looked decent and well done. Yeah. There's other parts that the mats just...
The bathtub's like right at
least
in
the version
line.
I was watching.
Yeah, like the bathtub's like right at the line of being uncanny. Like you can kind of tell, but it's still a good effect, and you're just like, wow, I love that still.
The Scaleri brothers.
Scaleri brothers, sure. Yeah.
But I like the Scaleri brothers because they look like cartoons.
Yeah.
So
that's falling into
it's a thing where it's like you're
the real Ghostbusters trope, not trope.
Sure.
The one of the reasons why people don't like it. Because it was.
But then you got to go back to Slimer. Yeah. Does Slimer look like a real person?
No.
Slimer's a freaking blob with an ass. He eats and shits. That's all he does.
He drives buses now too, sir. He's multifaceted.
So that's actually an interesting
now.
take. Let's go back to Ghostbusters 1 and think about that. Let's recount the ghosts in the movie. We've got the librarian ghost who's an actual librarian.
Yeah.
We've got, the hot dog eating Slimer, shitting and flying around eating things. Not really a humanoid, but I wouldn't call him human for sure. We've got strangely a skeletal, an actual manifestation of a skeletal taxi cab driver. So it's not even really ghost. It's like, that's new and interesting. And then, we've got, Zool and you got the terror dogs and everything else like that. I don't know. Yes, Stay Puft too, but I guess you're right.
Really,
most of the ghosts are human.
They're more real looking than they are cartoon.
You are correct. And even when the containment unit blows after Walter Peck steps in and they fly out, it's haunting.
Shades there. Like ghosts more, where like you can see
like specters,
arms and
stretched bodies and outstretched limbs, and they're wailing as they come out, and it's like, okay, it's spooky.
I guess maybe the reason why I accept the Scaleri brothers is because of my love of Muppets.
That's what I'm leaning into.
They kind of do have a Muppet feel to them.
They do.
I bet they went out to be Marley and Marley.
I'm not going to get that out of my head for the next 3 days.
They also wear chains.
That's stuck in there now. Damn it.
So they put goo in a toaster. The toaster does a little bouncing. They put goo on the Statue of Liberty, and it can walk perfectly with flexed feet.
With a Nintendo joystick. That's the important part.
I'm curious as to how they did that. Maybe it's like a...
Well, I mean, they make a comment about it, too, as they're going downtown, and whoever says, can't this thing go any faster? And it's either Ray or Egon that says, if we go any faster, it'll crumble apart or whatever they say. So that's there.
Right.
But yes, the logic behind it doesn't make sense. Is it fun? Yes. Is it a movie? Yes. Does it make sense? Does it have to make sense?
It does.
No.
Yeah. Ultimately, it doesn't. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. But the fact that they get so much control, I guess, is the science.
You just...
Like, oh, no,
Joe already said,
don't worry about it.
Egon's going to science regardless. So somehow, in some way, shape, or form, Egon specifically, the brain on frickin' legs, decided, you know what? We're going to make the Statue of Liberty walk. And he did it. Because he's Egon.
I guess localized vibrations playing the music through it, maybe, and they could have switches to be like...
See, I could take that. I would understand that more if it was more like a Gundam or like a Pacific Rim scenario or like a Evangelion where you've got like controls and like pedals and armatures and stuff. But no, they're just hanging out, joystick, some plastic buttons. That's how it's moving.
When they still step on a cop car, they still take the time to say put that out there. They say sorry.
They do.
At least. Didn't mean to do that. Oh, well.
I mean, the difference between the toaster and the Statue of Liberty is the toaster was early on in their studies of the goo. By the time we get to the Statue of Liberty, through the means of efficiency and storytelling and us not exactly knowing how long they had to study it and do tests, their tanks are full of positively charged goo. So that's a big difference here, is that's prepared goo. So they have a better understanding how it's going to react and stuff like that. So that's a little forgiveness through storytelling in why suddenly we got from toaster jumping to statue walking.
I guess they had enough time to figure out how to positively charge the goo and get enough goo to fill tanks that apparently
there's a river of this stuff.
No kidding.
There's a river.
And positively. That being said, it is self-replicating.
Yeah, exactly.
And there are several of the vignettes that they do of what was happening with the team would jump to them like scooping more and more of the goo.
Backing a cement truck up and sucking it in or something, you know.
I guess we don't need that. It's real nice that we don't have the movie telling us
Bingo!
Every step
I
of
love
the way,
movies
like,
that don't say or show absolutely everything because it lets your imagination be a thing. That's why
they never go to the bathroom in this movie, so they must never poop or pee.
They didn't in the first one either. It's continuing.
Unless they're an elevator.
They do.
They didn't even collect the stool sample from Oscar.
Actually, did they even eat?
I don't think they
did they even eat in this movie? They ate in the first one. They used the petty cash on Chinese, but did they eat in this movie?
They talk
Venkman
about
was at a restaurant, but he wasn't eating.
They were only drinking by the time they broke it up.
Ray and Egon were deciding whether or not they wanted Chinese,
that's a good point.
Thai,
I don't think they ate.
Italian.
But did they eat?
Nope.
We didn't get to see it, so it didn't happen. Oh, man. Anyways.
Stuff to think about, man.
See, that's another reason, completely another storyline to go into, but that's why I don't like the 2016 Ghostbusters. Not because it's women, not because it's this, that, blah, blah, blah. It's just because it beats you over the head because it thinks you're too stupid to understand the jokes. So that's a prime example. We have to have scenes of Melissa McCarthy eating wontons out of her soup.
Wonton.
She has to be eating it because it's a joke. Because you can't have a joke about how they didn't put enough wontons in her soup without telling it 3 times in a row and having her yell and complain about it. It's the same thing as, it's like the first Ghostbusters, we talked about it, like the hearse pulls up. It's funny because it's an old hearse, it's an old ambulance. It's, it's self-explanatory why it sucks. And then you have this one, and all the cast members have to look at the vehicle pulling up and be like, "You got a hearse?" It's like, yep, we know. Things like that. But I think, like I was talking about, the biggest one was Kristen Wiig was trying to talk to the mayor, and everything's rumbling, and they're all looking outside, and a dumpster rolls by, and it's hysterical.
Yep.
If it was left alone, but they immediately jump into Kristen Wiig saying, "Oh, it's just a dumpster."
Right.
This movie and Ghostbusters 1 just let jokes hit and cook. They back into a corner when they turn their proton packs on for the first time. That's hysterical. They're nervous. They don't know what's going to happen. But no, 2016, let's have Melissa McCarthy flying around on a proton stream.
Ride one like
slamming
what
into walls
movie is this?
Slamming on her butt. Ghostbusters 2016. Answer the Call, they had to rename it. Because they re-released it.
Never seen.
They re-released it.
What?
It did so poorly at first that they actually re-released it, announced it was premiering, and it's like, wait, the movie's already been out for 3 weeks. What do you mean it's premiering? And they renamed it Answer the Call, which it's like, clearly it's not doing well, but
I didn't realize they did
I
that.
remember
That's
it originally
funny.
just came out as Ghostbusters.
Seeing it and being like, you know what? This isn't worth
It's not
my time.
bad. They're all funny. They're all funny. They're all great. But the storyline literally involves an incel that everyone makes fun of who commits suicide to become a ghost. And he, I shit you not, becomes the Ghostbusters logo as the manifestation. It walks around and tries to, it's
Wow.
it's
I'm
way too
glad I never saw it.
It's not
and I
bad.
would never
It's not
spend
fun.
any money on it. That sounds awful.
It's fun. It's the thing that I do miss from that movie versus Afterlife and whatnot is it still had the classic opening. It had the classic opening of like a Scooby-Doo style, someone walking around, something crazy happens, and then you get the Ghostbusters theme song, you get the logo popping up, and then it cuts over to what's happening. I loved that, but that's gone now. But anyways, I digress. Like, yeah, it's just it's a different feel, different everything, but that they still let it happen in this movie. You still get those jokes that are phenomenal, and they just stick because you have time to laugh because they let you laugh. It's like every time you wind up to laugh, they take your laugh away in the 2016 one.
The biggest thing I can't believe in this movie is on New Year's Day in New York, there isn't a massive party going on.
That's
already.
The biggest thing?
Like, there's supposed to be a New Year's Eve party since 1907, apparently, according to the internet. They've been dropping that ball. So there should have been a massive party there already.
True.
Probably not the best time to bring back the Carpathian.
Is this a matter that they wouldn't been able to, like, film New Year's?
That many people?
Many people?
Yeah.
Having to pay all of the extras to fill Times Square?
Truth.
It just wouldn't work with the thing because the goo feeds off fear, feeds off anger, and the goo, Vigo's destroyed because New York sings at him.
That's fair. That's
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
That's
such a great way to say it.
Point.
You can't have that and have a New Year's Eve party where that's already happening all the time.
So brave for saying something so true, Ken.
Oh man. Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. I was gonna say my big thing that I agree with for one of the critiques is the fact of it's absurd, absolutely absurd to start the movie on the premise that hundreds of people witnessed a giant marshmallow man wandering around the streets, smashing things up, explode into a whole blob of goo. There's physical evidence, all the stuff happening on the roof and all that stuff, and just immediately jump to, well, nobody really saw it, so it's fake. I mean, how? But I guess, you know, all the people watching the ghost fly out of the damn HQ, like there had to have been thousands of witnesses watching all this happen and unfold. Buildings taller than Dana's apartment complex, seeing the stuff happening on the roof, everything. But no, they just chalk it up to a laser light show and then cancel the Ghostbusters. And that's how the movie starts. That's hard to believe.
I think the Ghostbusters were mostly brought down by the lawsuits that they were apparently responsible
damages,
for because they toppled buildings.
That's the thing. They got hit for the damages.
I guess they would take the blame if it was a
that's
light show.
They said it was just a light show and that none of the stuff that they talked about actually happened. So you're telling me thousands of New Yorkers didn't rally against the government and be like, no, these guys did this. Like, I was out on my terrace watching this shit happen on a rooftop. Like, there's stuff happening in that city that you can't just turn a blind eye to and say, oh yeah, that wasn't a thing. That's my problem with it. Anyways, are we done with the good things, or are we still? We're at the end of the movie.
This was like an everything.
Kind of shotgunned everything all at once, right here.
Yeah, we shotgunned it.
So we got. Last good thing I'll mention is it's so nice to see Tully suit up. I love seeing Tully suit up. It made me happy as a kid. As a kid, it made me so happy. Really did.
I wish he would have been at least a knowledgeable lawyer, because he's already supposed to be a lawyer, but like at least a little bit of bravado to him. But
he's meek.
I guess accountant. He said I guess he's got law experience.
Yeah. But he's an accountant in the first movie because remember he had all his clients over. That's who was at his party.
Yeah,
talking about all the different tax loops that everybody's in. How he saved him on this, or how the salmon's this much and stuff like that.
It's good career development for him. Good for him.
Some good development.
Doing all right. He just wants to be a Ghostbuster. One last thing I liked for me, the very beginning of the movie, Bill Murray's got the psychics on his show, and the first guy's like, "World's gonna end on New Year's this year," and Bill Murray, being already had been a grifter himself for a while, recognizes that kind of speech and is like, "You sure you don't want to move that back a little bit?" But it ends up actually being like that's actual psychic premonition that this guy's happening, or at least it ends up being the correct end of the year, New Year's Day.
Yeah, I love that. Mm-hmm. I love that because he's trying to like push him back and like give him shit about how he's not going to see paperback residuals for at least a year and everything. Like, are you sure? And then of course you got that wonderful, wonderful juxtaposition with the the seemingly more credible at first woman telling her tale, only that it becomes some weird alien thing took her back to its room.
Cover for the fact that she's been not true to her husband.
Yeah, she's trying to explain like publicly that she didn't cheat on her husband. Yeah, there's so many angles to that. I love it.
But it's a good silly foreshadowing. If you're paying attention. If not, it's just a good introduction to Bill Murray. So it's like a nice multifaceted scene that works great. And you get to have you get to have the lady say some really weird stuff, and it's a very fun scene.
It's reminiscent of the librarian scene from the first movie where they're talking to her. Has your family ever experienced any kind of, whatever event and blah, blah, blah. And, she said, whatever she said, it was like, what was it? My uncle thought he was St. Jerome or something like that. I'll take that as a yes. It's just like that weird exchange between the two. It's got that feel to it. Just, it's absurd. It's wacky. I love it.
So has anyone's view on this film changed since seeing it when you were younger?
A little bit.
Yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit more this time.
I do enjoy this film. After seeing the more recent two films, Afterlife and Frozen Empire, I feel like there are a lot of things that hit harder in this film that weren't written to be particularly hard-hitting, or at least more poignant. I don't know if that's just because they took the time to make those kind of callbacks in the newer films to things that happened in the past as like an Easter egg. I mean, I don't even know if they were even Easter eggs. Some of them were just, this happened in the past, and that's why these things are happening now in the future.
Yeah, I don't know. This movie's kind of bittersweet for me. It still bothers me because I feel like this movie gets so unjustly shit on to the point where they try to sweep it under a rug and forget about it, including the new movies where there's some callbacks, like Dan's saying, but it's almost like, it feels like there's almost a stigma to the movie. There's almost like in the background, you can tell they're trying to avoid addressing this movie if they can. And you don't see slime throwers ever make a reappearance. You don't see any of that cool stuff. You don't see anything that made 2 come back. Down to the point of Afterlife, it's the original Ecto-1, not Ecto-1A, that the kids find and restore. Everything changes back and reverts back to the original Ghostbusters to the point where they're trying to sweep 2 under the rug like it didn't happen. Except for a couple of small things here.
I would say a little bit more than that. They do make a lot of references to things that happen in the second film.
No, they do.
And that's mostly because of Egon and his family.
Yes, mostly because of Egon. It's difficult because for decades I've listened to people crap on this movie, and it's hard because it's my favorite one of the series.
Oh, wow.
Because for me, I just see, it takes a lot of risks. It introduces a lot more lore. It adds a lot more fun, equipment, and different things to the Ghostbusters franchise, building off of one. But I have to say, the critiques are just. They make sense. But that doesn't negate the fact that it still tried new things, has new things, and builds everything up. And I appreciate the hell out of it for doing that. But it's difficult because it is, it's like a black sheep in the Ghostbusters franchise. It's kind of like Jurassic Park, the Dilophosaurus. Everybody loved it. You talk about Jurassic Park, people talk about the spitter. They love the spitter. They love that Dennis Edry scene, everything about that. We didn't get to see a Dilophosaurus again until Dominion.
Was it Dominion? Because there was the Dilophosaurus
you got to hear
in the most recent.
Well, no. Fallen Kingdom, you hear it chirp in the background when it's that night scene in the opening. But you don't see a Dilophosaurus again outside of a skeleton or a museum mock-up. You don't see it again living until Dominion when they crash land on in that nature sanctuary and it's there.
That's right.
And there's a reason for that. Because the Dilophosaurus didn't have a crest. At least there's no physical scientific evidence that it did. So the paleontologists, I can't remember which one specifically, working on the films after Jurassic Park, and executives continuously fought to not have the Dilophosaurus involved because it destroyed, in their opinion, the image of what a Dilophosaurus is by making it that. Because now nobody's ever going to see a Dilophosaurus the way it actually is, with just the 2 crests on the head. Everybody immediately thinks it's got the frills that pop out. And that's the image of a Dilophosaurus. So it angered them that much seeing that consistently through media and toys and everything that they fought to not have it included. And it took 4 movies before it came back.
Kind of hypocritical, considering the fact that velociraptors are tiny.
And that's the thing. So many people lean on Jurassic Park thinking accurate dinosaurs, but it's not. So much of it has been lost on the fact that they cut frog amphibian DNA into the missing genomes to recreate these things. They're not actual dinosaurs. They're genetically modified amusement park freaks. They got close, but they didn't make dinosaurs. So it's for me, it's the same thing. Like my entire childhood into adulthood is like, man, I missed Dilophosaurus. I hope it comes back someday. I know it's not really what it looks like, but I still love the hell out of it. And then, of course, you have Ghostbusters 2, where it's like, man, Ghostbusters 2 had so much cool shit they put into it, but now every Ghostbusters movie tends to try to forget about it. Makes me sad.
You know, but Lady Ghostbusters also tried to include some new things,
pistols.
Like the double-handed
the whips too. Yep.
And the pistols. The unfortunate part, like, very cool. Look great. The whole, whipping through and exploding ghosts. And then I just said exploding ghosts, and there's your problem.
They're killing ghosts. There's a scene where they're killing ghosts. They don't even try to catch them. They're killing them. They have guns. They have literal plasma pistols, and they're shooting ghosts and making them disappear and blow up. They're killing ghosts in that movie.
Literally busting the ghosts.
You got second death.
Yes.
And I'm not... it shouldn't bother me, but like up until that point, that was not a thing that you could do in the thing. Like they didn't accidentally overcharge a ghost would you consider them overcharging the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man?
No, because Stay Puft Marshmallow Man isn't a ghost; it's a manifestation. It is literally a giant marshmallow. So it doesn't actually. It's not actually like it's not a.
That's
spirit.
what I thought.
It's not some sort of living thing that now exists in a spirit form. It's literally something that's something greater manifested to exist. So no, I don't think so.
So then, it was a weird addition to the movie. Looked very cool. That's what they did it for, was because
exactly.
It looked cool.
I think my problem with 2016 is if it had a different director and writer, I loved the characters. I loved the equipment. It was a bit of a change from the old equipment, so it was tough to get used to, but I still loved it because it felt like, the extreme Ghostbusters or whatever the hell else. Like, it was good. The problem is the actual story behind the 2016 Ghostbusters was complete and utter shit. Had it been a different scenario for all those characters to be in, it would have been amazing. But no, that's what's tough.
It was a different... I think the way you explained how you felt about that film is that it was a comedy, a horror comedy film that had a Ghostbusters skin slapped on it.
Yes, so it takes the comedy of Bridesmaids and things along those lines at that time and makes a Ghostbusters movie out of it, which is great. It's fine. But as a Ghostbusters fan coming into it, expecting the dry humor and expecting some of the humor of the first 2 movies, you're expecting the elevator scene, like I said, and things like that. And then you get to Ghostbusters 2016 and there's literally a queef joke within the first 5 to 10 minutes of the movie, I think it is, maybe 20 minutes, whenever they're investigating the house and stuff. And there's just, it's got that style of humor to it where some of it lands, some of it sticks, but it's just all over the damn place. It's like they couldn't find an actual tone and stick with it. We'll never get these movies again. I cherish them deeply. Harold Ramis is dead. It's done. It's done.
I would still recommend this movie.
Absolutely.
Maybe not as strongly as the first one, but that's just me.
That's fair.
I still enjoyed it very much this time around. As an adult, I see it differently than I did as a kid, and I enjoy it more this time around.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
So that was us jackhammering a random street in town and getting the goo with Ghostbusters 2. Thank you, Golf Club. Thank you. I was like, oh dear God, I have no idea what I'm saying. That's every time we record, a little bit of what goes through my head anyway of, oh God, I don't know what I'm going to say. And if you like that, subscribe. Whatever. We'll be here.
Dear God.
Probably in about another month.
Just subscribe.
Wow, Dan, begging. That's so unseemly of you. You don't need to beg them.
No, but I like having something to do.
Because they want to.
You admonish them into subscribing.
I promise for every subscriber we get, I'll talk a minute less. Promise.
Oh God! Oh no!
That could be detrimental.
That's counterproductive.
This could be problematic.
Oh no!
And I hate to do it again this time round, but we forgot to talk about what we're going to do next.
God.
So,
well, what do we got on the list?
We're going to do
1992 Walt Disney classic, The Newsies.
Oh, good God, it's going to happen someday. Someday.
We're running out of movies.
No, we are not running out of movies.
We could be.
Joel, make sure of that.
I mean,
turns out they did a few of them in the 80s.
Andy just mentioned
90s,
Death
actually.
Becomes Her. I've been trying to shoehorn that into our rotation forever.
Why haven't we
It
not?
just never lands on streaming.
not
That's one of
seen
those
that
movies I
movie.
saw as a kid because it was always on because my sister and parents loved it. And then as an adult, I watched it again and realized just how damn good it is.
Never seen it.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so good. Glenn Close not Glenn Close, Meryl Streep and Goldie Hawn going back and forth with their quips. It's so fucking good.
Potions?
Yes. The potion that lets you live forever.
So at least I know where that comes from now. Good. Excellent. Cool.
Yeah, and Bruce Willis is the,
I have a point of that.
plastic surgeon. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. If that's what we're going to do, I'd
Is
be
this
down
a
for
thing that maybe we should do that one next?
Sure. I love it's spooky month. Let's watch Death Becomes
Shoehorn away.
That shoehorn fits really well.
All right.
I've not seen that movie, and I need to watch it.
It's good.
There you go. We just did it live.
Yeah.
We'll be doing Death Becomes Her next. So come back next time when we rewind again.
And one of us will watch the musical and not tell anyone else. And we'll see if you can tell, dear listeners, who watched the musical.